and welcome to Jinxie Unsupervised. Today I'm in the garden with this little dude, and we've been looking around and we've noticed there's a distinct lack of a sandpit. And you love a sandpit, don't you? Not interested. So we're going to build one, but it's not going to be an ordinary one, is it? No, it's going to be a Jinxie sandpit. Are you going to come to the shed and help me out? Really? Here's a hammer. Let's crack on, shall we?
On balance, maybe it wasn't such a good idea to ask Theo to help. Nah, I'm only joking. It was my hand. So, how are we going to do this? Well, there's a couple of problems. One is that the only space I've got in the garden to put a sandpit is underneath that bench over there. So it's got to be a particular size. And the other issue is that once the sandpit's full of sand and it's underneath the bench, it's going to be really difficult to drag out. So we're going to make something that comes out on its own. This is the box that I've made so far. It's going to have the sand in. And all I've got to do now is build a platform for it and figure a way to move it in and out. So here's the basic setup. The box is going to sit on this platform. The bench is also going to sit on the platform, and what it's going to do is slide out like this and open up like that. I've got some little casters for it to run on, but next I need to make a frame for this to sit on and then work out a way of fitting the motor that's going to push it in and out. Yeah. And now a wood cutting montage. We'll have to be quick though, because I've got new neighbours and I don't want to piss them off too much.
What was that god-awful racket?
Jinxie.
What? You didn't tell me you had rented a house next to Jinxie?
It's cheap.
Course it was fucking cheap. It's right next to Jinxie.
No, mate.
Well, you're right there, mate. I'm going to have words with that fucking mongrel.
So this is the platform that I've built to put the box on, and that eventually the bench is going to sit on, and the box is going to move backwards and forwards on there. Now it's at this point in any project that I'll normally start thinking about fitting the engine. I much prefer to use engines. I understand engines. I know how they work. I'm not that brilliant, however, with electric motors. It's all just black magic as far as I'm concerned. I'll leave that stuff to my friends Kevin and Sid. They know a lot more about this shit than I do. But the reason I've chosen this one is because it's fully self-contained. I've got a power supply, so I don't need to worry about voltage or anything like that. It's got a switch attached to it, which I'm going to change for something a bit smaller. And it's got built-in limit switches at either end of the throw, so when you get to the end it stops and it doesn't rip itself to pieces, which is brilliant. The issue that I've got is that the distance that this thing travels is exactly 360 millimeters. The distance that I want this to travel is 500 millimeters. So that means I'm going to have some kind of a lever, so that when that moves down to there, it pulls this all the way back. For that, I'm going to have to do some maths. I'm not very good at maths, so I've got someone to help. I'm Professor Brian Cox. It's quite a simple sum, really. It's just this and this and this and some other stuff. I used to be in a band, you know. Things can only get better.
Thanks to the calculations from Brian, we've got a working prototype, and this is what it's supposed to do. Yeah, not bad. And then it goes back in again. Get in. I'm quite pleased with that. Really all that's left to do now is take it apart and paint it. There's some little bits on the bottom I need to sort out, but for now I'll take it apart, turn this thing upside down and show you what's going on under there. So this is what I've got underneath the box. We've got the motor for the linear actuator, which is sat in there, and this pivot which pivots on this point here, this arm which propels the box forward when I push the button. And it's this calculation that was really important, because this thing only moves 330 millimeters, but that thing has to move 500 millimeters. And it looks like Professor Brian Cox got it spot on. All I've got to do now is put a bit more strengthening under here, tidy it up, mount the power supply somewhere, paint the whole thing, and we're good to go. So here's the finished product. As you can see, it's currently in bench mode, and I've put it here because this is my favourite place in the garden to sit, because I get the best views of everything. But when the little man comes around to play, we do this. So as you can see, I've got the remote control for this mounted on the fence post, and the first thing we do is press this button, which gives us bubbles. So you've got to have bubbles. Then we press this button. And we've got these lights that we can play with that turn on kinds of different colours. Like so. And then when we're ready to put it away, we press this button. Just got to invite the little fella around now and see what he thinks of it. I think we turn the bubbles off now. So there you have it. It strikes me that probably for the first time I've built something that's useful, practical and safe, which is not like me at all. Maybe I should see a shrink. Tell me about your childhood. Well, there was a lot of explosions and fires and people running away screaming. Or maybe not. But anyway, if you've ever considered the question, can you put an engine on a sandpit? The answer is obviously, no you can't, you fucking idiot. But it turns out that what you can do is put an electric motor on one. And if you've enjoyed this video, then hit the likes and the shares, but more importantly than that, if you can afford it, why not make a donation to one of the UK's children's charities? I've put some links in the description for you, because every kid deserves to be this happy. I'll see you next time.